Hi guys, thanks for requesting the project design tool for Niko Home Control. I'm going to take you through a very quick instructional video on how to use the tool and what information to enter that will enable us to pull together a project cost for you and help you get best value out of your installation. So here goes. So here you can see the project design spreadsheet for Niko Home Control. I'm going to populate some information in here that I've already done, but as you can see here, we've got name, address, and contact details. It's quite important that you fill these in because it'll help us tie this in with your project and help us get back to you quickly and easily with a budget cost for the installation. The room or the area, circuit description, and how you want to control the circuit is important based on the specification that you require. So I'm just going to populate these things now for you. There we go. So details are in there, and I'm also going to just repopulate this as well. So here we can see we've got the room, the living room or the kitchen, and we've got the circuits that we want to control in there, the hallway, the circuits we want to control in the hallway, and we've included some blinds, heating zones, as well as lighting, of course. The cloakroom, we've got some downlights and an extractor fan in there as well. Now, once we've done that, then we just need to decide how we want to control the circuit. If it's a dimmable circuit, we put a D. If it's a switch circuit, we put an S. Heating zone, we put a H, and a motorized blind, we put an M. Okay, then we decide how many wall controls we want to put in that area. Of course, if there's only one door coming into a room, then chances are you're going to just have one wall control. Whereas at the hallway there, you might have a switch at each end of the hall, so we've got quantity 2. And again, this is totally bespoke to your own layout. When we come to a bedroom, if we've got a switch as you come into the room, and maybe one either side of the bed, and perhaps one over by the dressing room, then of course that's going to be quantity 4. But again, this is totally bespoke to yourselves. Then we have the cloakroom where we want to select our indoor motion detector. So indoor motion detectors we want to select. So we've got one in the cloakroom, one in the walk-in wardrobe, and we've also got one here in the landing. And then the outdoor motion detectors, for instance, here we've got 3 on the outside of the house. So we've got maybe one at the front, one at the back, and one on the side elevation as well. Now, if we want video entry to incorporate into Niko Control, because of course Niko Home Control does video entry as well, then we need to type VDS in here, and it needs to be typed as VDS because this is quite important because it picks it up for the design result. If you want a touchscreen, as you can see over my shoulder, then you just need to write TS. Now, if you wanted one in other areas as well, then we can say we also want a touchscreen in the main bedroom. So quite simply, we would just type TS there. Okay. So once we've done this and we're happy with this, fill it in as a complete wish list covering every part of the house. So things like the all off function works because you're covering all the circuits. When we come over to the design result, you'll see that it's now counted up for 2 touchscreens and a video door station. Right? But it's also counted the number of switch circuits, the number of dimmable circuits, the number of motorized blind or curtain circuits, heating zones, the 7 of them, and MVHR. Now, if I just go back to the MVHR and the extractor fans, just to clarify that, if you've got an extractor fan, you need to type an S because it's a switch circuit. And if it's an MVHR system, like a central ventilation or a whole house ventilation system, you need to type V because it's a different module that we need to provide. We can then take this information once you send it back to us, and we can work out a budget cost for the overall installation. It's worth also noting that depending on budget, you might want to consider changing the number of circuits, i.e. a dim circuit might become a switch circuit, or you might want to take out your motorized blinds, because whatever your budget is, we can generally meet that budget by adjusting the functionality. If your budget doesn't stretch as far as motorized blinds initially, then you could still put the cables in for those, but don't necessarily provide the modules. So again, we can play around with this to take out certain elements of it, and then we can see how it fits in with your budget. So depending on what this overall result is, we can play around with this budget according to, or the specification according to your budget. So it's worth noting that there are certain elements of Niko that are already going to be covered that you might already have a budget for already with a third-party company. So here you'll see the motorized circuits. These are circuits for motorized blinds and curtains, but of course, if another company has already provided you a quote for the fobs as well and the controls, then you don't need that anymore because it's covered under Niko. The same for the heating zones. You don't need to buy third-party thermostats or controls because it's already covered here. Same for MVHR or central ventilation. And video door station, if your security guys have already quoted you for VDS or for video entry, then again, that can be removed and that budget can be assigned to this. Okay, we can also play around with these quantities. The key initially is to get an overall wish list together so that you can see what the budget comes to, and then we can shopping list it to match pretty much any budget. So that's basically all the information we need to know. Niko Home Control is the overall figure is based on quantities ultimately. Of course, there is no average cost for an installation. We get that asked that all the time. There is no average cost for a 3-bed or a 4-bed house because, of course, it's going to depend on the quantity of circuits and the quantity of wall controls that you have and ultimately the functionality. But of course, as you can see from this, it's a very quick exercise to try and get a budget cost together and then we can play around with it. So thanks very much, and I'll look forward to receiving your design spreadsheets back.